Hell no.
You kiss that person.
If we're talking about fetish, that is my
I
fetish.
think that is like a very strong desire, right?
Well,
right?
I feel the pressure.
I also tried swiping on Tinder a little bit.
Why should you limit yourself?
Run, girl. You need to run. And that, you guys, is the reason why we make this video. Stereotypes built around interracial relationships. Are they indeed true, or are they just myths? That we will find out from this video. You guys, my name is Feebee and this here is
Christian.
I make German themed videos and together we make
Couple related content.
If that sounds like something you want to be part of, make sure to click on the subscribe button and be part of our journey. You guys,
let's get started.
On to the first misconception.
Is that a question?
Well, at least needs an explanation.
Okay. If you guys watched our previous video, you would know that we met on an interracial dating site. So we both actually could have expected ending up in a relationship like ours now.
More or less. I have always been open-minded when it comes to dating, right? I had been already in my past with black guys and I had also been with white people. And because I had good experiences out of these relationships, I didn't mind doing it again. I wasn't limited to like going on a date site that is purely for black people or a date site that is purely for white people. It was okay with me. It was okay to end up with a white man or to end up with a black man. I was totally fine with that.
Yeah, I also tried out different platforms, but at the end of the day, I think we both had something in common. We felt more comfy on the side where we actually met each
That's
other,
true.
right? The people were a little bit more matured and we felt more connected there.
That's right, yeah. I don't know if we ever talked about the date site where we met, which I think is a video that is interesting for our viewers, right? Yeah. That site was very different from the other sites that we had tried in our past. I tried Badoo. I also tried swiping on Tinder a little bit.
yeah, I remember there was something like that.
Yeah, swipe left, swipe right. Yeah, and that was just not doing it for me. I think there was a lot of you know, like
Not
very
really.
immature people.
They were not serious. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Still out for games, and that was just not for me. And the moment I came across this particular date site, I saw the shift. The conversation you will have with people there is very matured, right? Goal oriented, people who know what they want out of this. So this really kept me on that site longer to actually end up meeting you, right? So yeah, that was really like not pre-planned that I want to find a white guy particularly, but there was a possibility from the word go.
And also, if you're an open-minded person, you don't have to think twice about stepping out of your race.
That's true.
Why should you limit yourself?
No, definitely not. Like I said, if you've already been there in the past, you don't really have to overthink the whole idea. And also I think how you grow up plays a big role. We both grew up in families where this was okay, right? So it was just okay.
Yeah.
We were just channeled to understand that it's okay to date outside of your race. So no, that was definitely not our case, you guys. Hell yes. Definitely yes. I have seen situations, you guys, where two people from different races are together and you find one partner complaining about the other partner not being fully into the whole package, the entire package. I'm in a relationship with you, right? And you like the idea of me. You like what's in front of you. But the idea of who I come with is not interesting to you.
Yeah.
So you find a guy that cannot deal with your family, that cannot be around your family, right? He can't handle being around a group of black people or your friends. That's quite disturbing. It gives me the impression that the person is okay with being with this particular person, but they're not fully sold out on the entire, idea.
He's
You
not
know what
fully
I mean?
into it.
Yeah. And also a situation where one tells you my husband is disgusted by my food. You got into an interracial relationship. You know that different traditions, different food, right? And that's something you should be excited about. How are you with someone that you cannot handle what they eat? You kiss that person. They ate that plate, right? It really doesn't make sense. So it's really attraction. But are you at peace with the whole race thing?
No,
That's the question.
I don't think in these cases people are at peace with.
No, it's not.
I have seen similar things happening, definitely. And the only exception they are making is for their partner, and that is weird. They don't want to have anything to do with their social environment. They cannot identify with the culture. It is really only exception that has been made only for the partner.
They're in love with the person in front of them, and that's it, right? Yeah, so that's definitely a fact. I feel like that situation gives us room to either put it down on racism or hate or maybe social levels. They are not in my level, right?
Strong ignorance,
Yeah,
maybe on top of
ignorance.
everything.
So yes, guys, I feel like there can be situations like this where a partner is with someone and be racist or be hateful against the other culture or the other race. Yeah, definitely.
Hell no. It's completely the opposite. If we're talking about fetish, that is my fetish. You know that I need a strong person on my side,
That's right.
And I really appreciate your integrity, you have strong morals, you're going forward, you're not silent, you're not quiet, you don't wait for me to do things, you do your own stuff, and that is actually my preferred characteristics who I need on my side.
When it comes to a woman. Yeah, I mean, it's sick for a man to go to women because they are easy. Like, what challenge do you have in the relationship? I think it's kind of like boring.
Yeah.
And there's no growth at all. There has to be that strong character that brings movement in a relationship. And there also have to be a strong character that maybe brings growth. Do you know what I mean? There just has to be two people complementing each other. We actually talked about abusive relationships and how they come to be, right?
Definitely.
It has something to do with imbalance. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Well, abusive relationships, no matter if forced or willingly, they find mostly its ground on imbalance.
That's right, yeah. So that is when one partner is strong in some sort of way, either working and the other partner doesn't work, right? The one that bears the finances in the house feels they have some strength against the other person, right? So it is always important as a woman going into a relationship to actually also establish whether this person that you're with is confident in having a strong woman. If a guy is going to be in a relationship with someone because he thinks that they are easy, I think that's a problem to start off with already, right? Yes. That's a hint. Run, girl! You need to run. That guy has issues.
Yeah, and you know what you will end up with.
Yeah, you know what you are with.
You know what you're getting into.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely not a good start. Wow, you guys. Like, what does anger have to do with this? I mean, what would a black man have done to me to stir up so much anger that I don't want to see black men? I was raised by the most amazing black man. Never a day in my life did I ever see my mom angry at him to an extent of hatred. I also grew up with two amazing brothers, very protective. I also grew up amongst a group of boys because I was just that one girl who gravitates more to boys than women. And my experience with black men was just amazing. I'm still connected to these people, you guys. I really don't have anything against black men. I've dated both races, and one thing I found about men are men. Doesn't matter the
Exactly.
skin color. The experiences you will have within a black community and the experience you will have within a white community is the same, you guys. They are either going to lie, to cheat, they're either going to treat you good or bad. It does not depend on what race a person is, right?
Exactly.
So yes, I'm definitely not one of the people that would date a certain race because I'm angry towards another race. And I really don't think that there's anyone with that mentality. That's really like nonsense.
I think so too.
I found money gains,
Okay.
fetish,
Oh boy.
and beautiful children. I know, right?
Yeah.
That's like really sad to think about, right?
Sounds weird already.
But you know what? We are going to look at these ones separately. And we will start with fetish.
Okay.
Do you want to give us a definition? Because I think people use this word here out of context, yeah. And I feel like people don't understand what it really means. So maybe we should look at the definition and then we can like explain ourselves.
I've prepared something, so let's have a look what the definition of fetish says.
Yeah.
It's a form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree to a particular object, item of clothing, part of the body, or in our case, or skin color.
Wow. Who would have thought that like sexual intentions can come from skin color? That sounds biased. But anyhow, I will speak for myself. I actually really think that this is referred to men, but I will stand up here for myself first and then I will let you explain yourself. As a woman, when we go into relationships, sex is the last thing on our mind. We go into relationships with our heart. So we really focused on the love aspect, building a home, settling down, or just being in a long-term relationship with someone. Sex is really something that comes up later. Like I'm not thinking about the male organs before I fall in love with them. That's just not how I am. And I think this is the case with many women out there. It's like, we were talking about this also one time, that men think about sex a lot in a day. We actually looked at statistics, right? And that makes sense, yeah. Also when dating, I think the chances of a woman asking for a male's naked picture is very slim. But we have been in situations where you on a date site, you talk to someone and they send you their male parts, or they ask you to send them nude pictures, right? So that also tells me that men go into relationships. I mean, not everybody, but it tells me that there is this element in men.
Yeah, well,
right?
I feel the pressure. You want to hear the opposite from me now. Yeah, well, let me put it that way. I think there is definitely some truth about it, that we men easily tend to think about sex at an earlier stage, okay? But nevertheless, it is also dependent on how serious you are looking, or what you're looking for. If you want to have a sex partner, well, then that is mostly what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But if you want to go for settling down, or you're looking for someone where you build a really good relationship with, then you also tend to take things easier and not prefer thinking with you in the first place.
I mean, fetish is really a strong word. I think fetish should be something that is like a very strong desire, right? From the way you explain it, I would put it down to stage. Men go through stages. So you are in a stage where you're just not thinking of settling down. You're just having a great time, and sex is on your mind. So you go into a relationship for sex, right? Then when you mature a little bit and you know what you want, you're also going into relationships for that, right? So it's also difficult to specifically put that down. to a fetish. I think a fetish is something deeper than what we have here.
Actually, when we have another look at the definition, we already knew that it is not based on one thing only, and what we discovered, it actually has nothing to do with skin color.
Yeah.
Yeah, something completely different, and you will even find it. We will find it within our own race.
Yes.
Right.
I also cannot think that is a fetish. I think that's just like a biased mentality, maybe immaturity or things like that, right? You also can't get to an extent of marrying someone because of sex. Like, what about the happiness?
Yeah.
What about coming home to a woman you don't love? You just want to have sex with them. There comes a time where sex is nothing in a relationship.
Okay.
So it just doesn't make sense. I think that we can put aside, and then we talk about the money aspect. I think this one is referred directly to me.
Yeah.
So as a female person dating a white man, I think it is easy for people to think that you are with this particular man for financial gains, mainly because white people are more privileged than we are as black people, right? And that alone just justifies the whole statement. But you guys, my view towards this, really, I mean, before I even was with a white man, was I need to have my own. I need to have my shit together. I'm the type of person who always want to have my own security. As an African person, we come from families where some of our relatives are not in the comfortable positions, right? So there's always going to be someone who needs help. I find that unfair that when I want to jump in for my family, my husband has to be responsible for that. I think that is not fair, right? So if you're in a relationship where your husband affords, he has it all, I still think as a woman you need to secure your own bag. I think it's nice for you to spoil yourself with cosmetics and all that. You don't need to always go to your husband and ask for that. That really brings you back to what we talked about, abuse.
Exactly.
Relationships like that end up being codependent relationships, and that's something that I don't wish for anybody out there.
No,
and
definitely.
It's definitely something I didn't want for myself, and I want to be a good role model for my daughter. So yes, I'm not going to be dating anybody for their money. I need to have mine. Then the last one is beautiful babies.
Oh yeah.
Do we really need to talk about this one?
That already sounds weird. I cannot believe actually that people are doing that. Right? I mean, I heard these kind of stories of people bleaching their skin and thinking that when they have mixed race children that they will be treated better in the future. But honestly, I mean, you make children because you're in love with your partner. You want to start a family and not because you want to start an experiment on genetics.
Yeah, or protecting them. I feel like you're not protecting them, you're actually making them weak, right? Because that's a mentality that child is going to grow up with, spoiled in some way, like I have it all, right? I think it's important for children to gain their own strength as they grow up. Learning how to love yourself is a level, it's a stage in life, right? Learning how to accept yourself is a stage. Building up your confidence is also a stage that we all have to reach, and I think every child needs to go through that. That makes a child strong. That makes a child stand out.
If you want to have them more open-minded, educate them. If you want to be them successfully in their later life, just simply support them in their school stuff, whatever they need.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that needs to be done.
That's right. Sit down, talk to your children, find their weaknesses, boost them up, hype them up. I do that with my daughter every time.
Protect them.
Exactly.
Lock them in their room when boyfriend is coming over.
No, but for real, you guys, I think children have to fall in order to stand, right? They need to get hurt in order to understand happiness. They need to go through struggles in order to understand wealth. No, we're not looking for cute babies. Our relationship wasn't for cute babies. Which culture? Like how are you betraying your culture? I think everybody carries their culture on their head like a crown. That's my pride. This is something that we learn with time growing up. As a kid, I never understood. But when I came into a relationship with you, that's something that's actually becomes more apparent, you know? Whenever we're having this like misunderstanding, or when there's just something standing out, there's always that battle of whose culture is better. You know what I mean? And I think being in an interracial relationship allows you to appreciate your culture more than you actually do in your comfort zone, right? We take our cultures with us everywhere. And something I'm proud of, like being in an interracial relationship, is that adventurous side, right? Of being able to experience your culture and also experience mine at the same time. This is actually also a huge advantage for the children that are born in these relationships. They don't only get like this one particular culture, they get to experience my culture. And in Germany, there's also like this modern standard of life, and your parents live in a very slow kind of laid back life, right? So our children experiencing both that from your side and both this from our side. It's like a beautiful world for them.
It is.
It is, right?
And like always, two lovely examples. We adopt quite a lot from each other, right? We talked in a previously video about how you guys introduced me into different kind of things when it comes to religion, the kind of way how we pray, right? It is totally different from me now. I enjoy it. It doesn't make me less white.
No.
Or when we went on holidays and you used the parachute, using the parachute also doesn't make you any more any less black, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
I really think it's an understatement to come off with the stereotype and say we abandoning our cultures. You guys, me moving to Germany on its own is abandoning my culture, because there is a total different way of life here, right? A completely different way of life from what I'm used to. I have to adapt to German way of life, to German traditions, German beliefs, right? To an extent, not that I'm abandoning my own, but there's a shift that happens by simply moving into a different country. I'm gonna give you a quick example. I have cousins in the UK, right? And I'm here in Germany, and my sisters are in South Africa, right? Before I moved here, whenever we had like a family gathering in Zimbabwe, we always realized that we were all different, but we were all the same when we lived in Zimbabwe. They are more advanced, right? They adapted to certain things in Europe. And we also are different from Zimbabweans, because we also have adapted a way of life in South Africa. So the Zimbabweans also look different from us, and they also look at us all in different ways. That on its own is a culture loss, to be quite honest, right? Not that we abandon our cultures, but we adapt to other things in life. And that's a simple explanation for this.
So the most important thing is you don't lose about your heritage.
You stick to
You
yours.
don't lose about your roots, and that's simple.
But you just gain more.
Exactly.
You simply gain more. That's right, yeah. Yes, you guys, these were the 6 stereotypes that we picked out for this video. As per always, our goal is to give you guys value. Did you gain that? If your answer is yes, make sure to leave us a comment, like and share our videos to communicate with YouTube that this video here is a video worth putting out in front of people. For the new faces here, smash that subscribe button and be part of our journey. You guys,
see you on the next video.
Bye. Bye.